Storage mode. Turn on Bluetooth switch on your mobile phone and then open the S6 Cloud app. Click Service. Local operation. Connect with Bluetooth. Select the Bluetooth signal from the inverter. Click Setting to enter the setting interface. Click on Storage mode. On this interface, you can choose 3 working modes: self-use, selling first, and off-grid. In self-use mode, PV energy will prioritize the power supply to the load and charge the battery. The excess energy is fed to the grid. When there is no power grid, the off-grid working mode should be selected. Users can choose the corresponding working mode according to their needs and adjust the appropriate parameters. Under self-use working mode, turn on the Allow Export option to enable export function. Enter max export power value to limit the maximum power sold to power grid. Set export calibration parameter according to actual applications, which can calibrate the import and export power to the grid under zero export condition. Set the grid peak shaving parameter as needed to limit the maximum power taken from the grid. Tick the grid peak shaving option to enable this function. Set the battery reserved parameter as needed. The recommended value is more than 80% to ensure that the battery has enough energy to supply the load after the grid is off. Tick the BAT reserved option to enable this function. Tick Allow GERD charging option to allow the battery to be charged by the grid power. Click Add Time Slot to set the 6 periods of timing charging and discharging. Click on Charging Time, slide to select the time period, and click on Cornfield. Set the corresponding SOC value to stop charging. Set charging current value. After setting the parameters, it is necessary to turn on the switch on the right side to enable the according period. Smart Port. Click on Smart Port. On this interface, users can select 3 working logic: genset input, smart load output, and AC coupled according to the actual connection. With Smart Load function, user can set priorities to power some heavy loads when the battery level is high. When the battery level drops to off value, the system will automatically cut off the power supply of these heavy loads to ensure the power supply of critical loads. When on-grid Always On is selected, the Smart Port will always be turned on to supply power to heavy load when the power grid is available. When off-grid Always Off is selected, the Smart Port will always cut off power supply to heavy load when the grid is off. If off-grid Always Off is not selected when the grid is off, the inverter will turn off the power supply of the Smart Port when the battery level reaches off value and turn on it when the battery level reaches on value. Parallel setting. Before parallel setting, ensure that connecting the PA of the first inverter to the PB of the second inverter using communication cable, connect the PA of the second inverter to the PB of the third inverter, and so on, so that all devices are connected. Turn the dip switch of one of the inverters up. Click on Parallel Setting to enter Parallel Setting interface. Enable Parallel System option. Select one inverter as the master, set Master Slave Setting as Master, and set the address to 1. Select Phase Connected Setting to Single Phase System. If forming a 3-phase system, please select the corresponding phase for the inverters.